Hello and welcome back to Star Wars Battlefront 2. What do we want to rock? Nah, I'll just go Assault. It's a classic. Yeah, one thing I forgot to mention last time, the reason I'm just doing co-op is because multiplayer is kinda terrible. The people who are still around are kinda sweats, and it's a bit gross to actually play against them. So it's like I'd rather not deal with that. I mean, I've had people who, they sit there and snipe from like cross map. It's like, this isn't fun. I can't literally move from spawn without getting domed. It's not interesting. You know, you get the guys who all they do is sit in like TIE fighters. They grind out to get just enough points to get into a fighter, and that's all they play.
Droids pushed us back once.
And that was fine back in like OG Battlefront, because original Battlefront, you had combined arms, you had tanks, fighters, you had everything, and you had launchers. A heavy class with a dedicated rocket launcher. This game, the dedicated launcher is honestly kinda crap. And that's saying something, as I'm someone who plays primarily as either officer or heavy, and it's bad. I get the idea of, hey, we need to have more stuff for command points, blah blah blah, but it's just not good. And of course a lot of stuff, we don't get it here, but you can call in like a lat gunship. And the problem is, old Battlefront, you would fly that thing manually. You could have all your buddies load up into it and fly around using the, particle beams? For the ball turrets. But you could use those, you could use everything. It was pretty cool. Now, it's just you, and it's very limited in what you can do and the scope of it, and so you don't get as much fun out of it. You can't be, the dedicated pilot and do anything of value. And that became, honestly, part of another big problem with this game was they really stripped a lot of roles out. And there was a lot of play and counterplay back in the old version. Because, these things were intended and existed at the time.
Droids have taken the sector and we have to retreat. It's not over yet.
I know I sound negative, but I miss the old game. There was a lot to it that made the game really good. And just a lot that really made every experience fun. Stuff like this kind of rush game mode is cool, but I do think it needs a little more to it. Like, if I could build a manable turret, that'd be cool. There's nothing there, cool. Deflect these back at me.
Targeting hostiles.
Or another thing was the fact that heroes had a time limit. Like, you had a lightsaber as a meter, and the longer you were alive, while you were alive, it would deplete, so you'd have to get kills. That was a fun mechanic, because it rewarded players for playing aggressive, but at the same time it was like, hey, you need to be competent. What do we want to use? Jet Trooper. I haven't played a Jet Trooper in a while. Oh. Oh, he's dead. Cool. Yeah, we got pushed off these real easy. But that always happens on this map. Ah, man. Playing this is kind of like watching that new Lord of the Rings show, which, honestly, I'm on to episode 4. I haven't watched the 5th episode yet, but I don't think it's bad. I know everybody's been losing their mind saying it's terrible. It's not bad. The first episode, the, like, ice troll fight that did some, like, House of Flying Daggers, Hong Kong fight scene slow-mo wire stunt stuff. Wasn't a big fan. I thought that was a really bad design choice. But, you know, director's gonna direct. Short of that, though, it's one of those things where, like, I watch it and I'm like, damn, I love Lord of the Rings. Just like playing this, just like watching a lot of the Star Wars stuff. Even though I get absolutely butt frustrated with how bad some of it is, there's still a part of me that you hear the music, the soundtrack, you hear a blaster, you see the ships, the clones, you see all of it, and I'm just like, damn, I love Star Wars. You know, it's a throwback to when I was younger, it's a throwback to a lot of good times. You know, bonding with friends, playing Battlefront 2, or I remember a buddy of mine, I haven't talked to him in years, and I remember he had lent me, he was a huge Star Wars fan too, so he had a bunch of games and we'd lend them back and forth, because like I had Galactic Battlegrounds, he didn't have that, which was essentially Age of Empires 2 reskinned for Star Wars. You can get it on Steam, it's a really fun game, and there's a mod actually that adds, it makes the Geonosians their own separate faction, Zen Consortium, has the First Order, the Rebellion, or not the Rebellion, the Resistance, you know, gotta be specific on that name, but, like, we'd bounce that back and forth, or he had Empire at War, and then so I'd play that, and I remember borrowing, like, Star Wars Bounty Hunter. Love that game. So fun. It was an absolute favorite of mine because I just thought it was so cool getting to be Jango Fett and getting to, you know, actually do bounty hunting. You'd scan a guy and be like, oh, he's worth, you know, 3,000 credits alive. So you'd chase him down and use the, like, coil projector stuff, little like liquid cable projector, and tie him up, and then you'd run into him and capture him for the money. It was so cool. Or I remember playing Starfighter at another friend's house. He had the Starfighter game. I was terrible at it, but I loved it. Or playing Pod Racer on the N64, or Racer Revenge on the PS2, which I ended up rebuying because they made it available on like PS4, PS5. So I have that because, dude, I love pod racing. I know a bunch of people are like, oh, it's so dumb. I was like, dude, it's extreme high-speed racing in Star Wars. Who are you to say this is stupid? It's honestly one of those things that it feels like it fits Star Wars so well. Which is something I wish they would really, like, I wish Disney would lean into, because they have like their Galactic Star Cruiser and stuff. It's like, dude, have a hut-run casino area, and one of the things is, you know, some screens that have pod racing. Randomly select who wins every time, certain odds on certain racers. You know, you do a different season every couple months so that it's like, oh, you know, you never know who's gonna win, or the odds on different racers change. Introduce new racers, remove old ones. Make it something so every time you're there, and of course extend the duration past 2 days, I'd say make it like a 5-day thing. But, you know, make it so you sit there and it's like, yeah, let's go watch some pod racing while we go to a little casino area or while we eat. Like, that would be fun. They want to do an immersive Star Wars experience. They're not doing it right. If I can't watch that or gladiator fights on Terrace, I got a problem then. You know, it's not fully immersive. Or Taurus, I think it is. I haven't played Knights of the Old Republic 1 in a hot minute. Man, I really hope that like remake or remaster turns out well.
Kashyyyka's fallen.
It's a remake, I think.
The Wookiees, and we've done the exact opposite.
God, I hope it's well done. Having to switch studios scares me. Scares me a lot, honestly. Oh, sorry I haven't been playing Heroes at all either. One, as you can tell, I never play like Anakin, Obi-Wan, or Yoda. I just never play Jedi. I play range characters because I find it a lot easier to play them. Yeah, they're not as powerful, but I'm just a lot better as a player with them. And everybody always picks these guys, so by the time I get the points to actually use them, they're already scooped up. You know what else would be nice for this game? Or a sequel? Now that I'm thinking about it. Neutral maps. Like, some of these are fine. You know, oh, you're clones, you have to defend Kamino. Okay, that makes sense. But other times, I really like to attack the enemy. And that's what I think a neutral map would be perfect for, is it's like, oh, hey, you kind of get assigned attack or defense. You know, the game just picks, you know, let's say you're attacking, I don't know, trying to think of a neutral location. I mean, a lot of them end up being kind of neutral at one point or another, so you could really pick any, outside of obvious ones like this, and have it where you end up, like, oh, there's certain set pieces, like, oh, there's Republic gunships that are landed at your, like, starting spawn. Well, if you're the droids, and the roles are flipped and you're the attacker, those get replaced with, you know, the droid carrier gunships. You know the ones I'm talking about, they're like a disc with a weird, like, MTT front dangling off the front of it, even though they're not really carriers, they're gunships, which is actually a discernible difference. That's like saying an F-15 and an A-10 Warthog are the same thing. It's like, nah, they serve different purposes. A gunship is a more fire support oriented vehicle, while a troop transport like a LAT, while it is armed, they are used to clear out a landing zone. I did not watch that wrist rocket. Took it right to the noodle. Let's see. You know, we'll take someone. We'll take Yoda, because I already got a couple points in him. Okay, yeah, that's what that does. God, I can't believe they added BB-8 to this game as a hero. You know, I get it. I just also don't like small heroes because, obvious balance issue, their hitboxes are whack. You know, I'm always a balance person, and the second you start messing with, like, oh, you have a half-height hitbox, it's like, okay, that's kind of broken. Especially because Yoda, when he attacks, he jumps, so your hitbox is moving, and you're becoming harder and harder to hit. Yeah, a while ago I had written up a whole design document for, like, a Battlefront 3. I always wanted to get on a team to make one, because I, you know, being a Star Wars fan, I always saw it as, like, this game has the potential to be really good. You know, bring back Galactic Conquest, bring back, you know, all the fun stuff from before. You know, all those modes that just made the game what it is. Especially because you could expand it. You know, add new maps. Oh, we're gonna add these to the Galactic Civil War or the Clone Wars, you know, Galactic Conquest maps, so now they are longer. Or I remember back in Galactic Conquest, you'd sit there and buy the bonuses, like, oh, your troops automatically heal. You get, you know, increased damage, you can pull a hero for the mission. This is always the easiest one to fight and beat the AI in, because they just cannot stop you.
There. The Seppies have given up their attack, and Kamino is safe. They'll think twice before trying that again.
Alright, so we're the Empire. I didn't even pay attention to what planet we're on. What are we on? Endor. Okay, so we're defending. Yeah. We'll go officer for this starting area. It's just gonna be a fighting retreat until I can get Bossk, and then I'll just start dumpstering kids. Or I guess AI. I really should play Iden Versio more. She's not bad. Palps, I'm trying to get him up, but I'm just kind of meh. I know some people are like, why do you play first person when third person exists? I like first person. This is what I always wanted in Battlefront. I wanted a first person shooter. You know, when this game came out, I said to one of my friends, I was like, dude, all they have to do is make this game Battlefield 4, but with lasers, and I'm happy. And it's true, that's all I've ever wanted. Because that's what works for me. You know, Battlefield 4 had just enough weapon customization. It had just enough, like, the Levolution was completely irrelevant to me. But the maps were good. The gunplay was good. I like suppression. I know a lot of people, you know, just have a absolute meltdown when someone says they enjoyed the suppression mechanic. I liked it. I liked actually being able to punish enemies and pin them down for my team to push forward, like how light infantry is supposed to work in reality. But, you know, they went with third person with the first person option, which it works. I'm not gonna say it's terrible, it's just not what I would have preferred. remember when this game came out and they had the loot box progression? And I remember the, like, Reddit AMA, what was it? The sense of pride in unlocking things through a loot box. Oh man, they were on something. There's no rational thought. It's like, yeah, people love having their progress completely gated by RNG. You want to progress as an assault? Well, open this loot box. Oh, you got sniper stuff. Better luck next time, buddy. Even if you have, like, the bonuses of, like, hey, you earned X points as an assault, so you get the assault box. That's still, in my eyes, kind of a bozo no-no there. Get away from me! Harrison Ford's just like, where's my wife? And just charges into you. Also kind of funny, Han Solo, you know, Harrison Ford. His character is an AI in this. And then him being Deckard in Blade Runner, who hunts AI. So hunts robots, like, I know that's a very stretch of a thing, but it's kind of funny. Who pulled Bossk and why did I get shot in the back? Let's see. Oh. Oh, someone pulled Iden. I will say, this game was a definite improvement over, like, the Battlefront 1 EA did, because that was just, it was just weird. Like, oh, hey, everybody is a custom, like, class, which is fine, but you couldn't specialize in anything. And so everybody was running, like, jetpacks, cycler rifles, and like shield bubbles and stuff, and it just dragged the fights on. Which is a shame, because it shouldn't have been that way. Realistically, it should have been a lot better. Or I wish you could repair. If you think I wouldn't run over and repair my homie right now, you'd be out of your mind. I would be under that guy's feet with a blowtorch, just like, hang on, homie, you took 3 points of damage, let me just patch that up real quick. You know, my inner support player is just like, please, I need to be able to support. I need it. I will say, I do appreciate that, like, hip fire is not bad. I get it's because people are playing third person a lot of the time and not really trying to, I don't want to say ADS because it isn't, but like focus fire. But man, it's really nice, because I hate when you hip fire in games and your accuracy is like, oh, you're decent, 3 bullets, and you're like, blah, 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 as the shots are just like going everywhere. You fire 1 bullet, it somehow goes at a 90-degree angle left. It's just like, how? How does any of this actually work? Like, that always bugged me in shooters when it's like, you're a battle-hardened commando. You've been fighting terrorists for 20 years. Hip fire a 9mm, and it's, you know, edge to edge of your screen, bullet spraying. It's like, am I one-handing this? Am I holding it fully extended, one-handing it? Do I have no upper body strength? Those are the only ways I can explain this horrible accuracy I have.
Vader should be informed. This retreat is only a ruse to confuse the rebels.
Nah, I'm not gonna play Bossk. I would play Bossk because I can lock down this doorway forever. I always do it because I'm scum and, you know, EA decided, hey, let's make Bossk stupidly powerful. Like, stuff like Dioxis grenades I think should have been available to every class. I think all the grenades should have. That's always a gripe I have. Like, that's in every game where they sit there and it's like, this class can use this grenade, but you can't. Dude, it's pull a pin and throw. Like, sorry, Sniper Man, you're too stupid to figure out sticky grenade. It's like, dude, it's sticky. How difficult is this process? Let's see, is he taken? He isn't. Yeah, we'll take him. I was gonna take Boba Fett, but take my boy.
You know my price.
Yeah, I've been seeing a lot of people, a lot of different YouTube channels doing like pen and paper RPGs as of late, and I've contemplated getting in on the trend. I know, just I play them normally. I'm not one of the people who's like, oh man, Stranger Things made this sound not like a nerd thing. I've been playing them for over like 15 years at this point, and I was honestly thinking of doing a Star Wars one because I love Star Wars. Sci-fi is within brand. And honestly, I've been working on one to play with my friends for a while.
You're throwing your lives away.
Hold still. Not that accurate. This rifle is sniper in name only. Pain. Run into my mines. It's totally safe. Dioxis grenades, these are stupidly powerful, especially with Bossk. Admittedly, I do think it's cool, like, hey, you can specialize in Dioxis grenades. You know, you want to be dedicated Sniper Man, you can build that way. You want to be just the stinky boy and throw stinky grenades at people all the time, even though they're Dioxis, it's implied it's either a poison, yeah, because Oxys would be O2. Don't know how it would work realistically, it might just be a name. Like they had, I think it was Trihexalon. I know it was Hex, which was the Sabath squadron in the Clone Wars. They were deploying it from some of their bombers, which was a bioweapon or poison bomb. But, you know, it's cool. That's something I like when Star Wars goes a little more in-depth in some of that stuff, because stuff like poison weapons or, you know, a lot of the more like scum and villainy dark stuff isn't touched on a lot, and I think it really fleshes out the universe. It makes for an interesting setting. You know, that's what I loved with, for the Star Wars RPG stuff, for Knights of the Old Republic, first off, that was D20 Star Wars. If people never figured it out, it was literally the D20 Star Wars role-playing game in computer format, or video game format. And then what they did later was they made a new version, which was Saga Edition, which was you know, original trilogy, prequel trilogy, and it was generally really fun. But they had, like, the implants. And I always thought that was cool because it was something they never really touched on beyond a, you know, a game mechanic in Knights of the Old Republic. So I always thought it was cool, like, oh, hey, you can augment yourself a little more than normal. It's just, it's not full on, like, cyberpunk levels. This dude's shooting arrows at me. You know what, you can keep doing that, I don't care. Everybody went to that side. See, like I said, you can lock down this side and never have anyone get through. But that is all for now. If you enjoyed this episode, make sure to hit the like button. It helps out the channel a lot. And if you haven't already, make sure to hit the subscribe button. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.